Later in the book, you write about current-day journalism, mostly in an unflattering way. You refer to the Cape Argos's brown envelope scandal under former Western Cape Premier Ibrahim Rasool, and to embedded journalists in certain DA factions and the role of the Sunday Times in your fallout with Lindiwe Mazibuko. What are your views on the state of journalism in South Africa today?
You know, I'll never generalize about anything. There are some very, very good journalists today, writing extremely well, and I follow particular journalists. I won't buy a publication per se. I'll say I know journalists A, B, C, and D are very good. What publications do they write for? And then I look for them, and I also subscribe online, and I will specifically go and look to follow certain journalists. I think some stables are a lost cause. I don't need to go into any detail here. But there is a huge tendency for journalists to be used, and often willingly to be used, in big political battles. And it's quite obvious to me when that's happening. And I think the prime problem is that journalists have this idea, completely wrongly I believe, that they speak truth to power, and that they're the only people with the access to the truth. Now, I said right at the beginning that no one has access to the full truth, and there's no reason on this planet why journalists should have. Often those of us really in the thick of the contestation know the truth much better than they do, and they're often being fed a distorted version of the truth for somebody's personal agenda. Now, that's why they always try to hear the other side, but often I have seen journalists being used with a very, very clear agenda on all sides of the political spectrum, and knowing eventually that the wheel will turn, but it's going to be very difficult. And I've tried to reflect that also in my book, but I also have to feel sorry for journalists because they have to take the story from whence it comes and get as much information as they can and try to get as close to the truth as possible, which is very hard for them as well. So I often console myself by simply saying the advantages of a free press, no matter how much it is sometimes abused, always outweighs the disadvantages, and I think that that is true.